Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody's having a lovely weekend. And with that being said, get into some TA. All right, guys, we are going to be preparing for the upcoming trading week during this video. First, we're going to start off here with the indices. Then we will go over some of the big boys, and then all of the big boys that we pay attention to, and then we will pay attention to the semis. Then we can go over Bitcoin, and then I have 30 plus trade ideas for you moving into the following week for you to pick and choose from. What do you want to pay attention to? All right, we have some juicy stuff that is going to be shared throughout this video, so stay tuned. All right, we're going to kick it off with SPY's weekly time frame. And I do just want to point out that you did close out with heavy volume last week, along with you held the 9 EMA. All right, so the weekly 9 was held. That is what I like to watch for my short-term momentum. All right, as you can see here on the weekly time frame, we held that and we printed something pretty similar to a hammer candlestick. I refer to these as pin bar candlesticks. Nonetheless, they are bullish candlesticks when they are printed. All right, it just shows that buyers were stepping in. A pin bar candlestick is when you have the lower wick here. You still have an upper wick, but the lower wick is larger than the upper wick. All right, so if you hear me refer to that throughout this video, that is what that means. Okay, now just going off of this weekly chart, we do know, all right, the trend will be your friend until the end, and it is still up. You have this pullback, and in the end, we're probably going to be continuing higher after said pullback because the trend is still to the upside. All right, even over here, when you did that, okay, your three, leg moved down, you still continued higher. All right, so in terms of Elliott wave, you have a 1, you have a 2, you have a 3, you have a 4, you have a 5, and then you went on, you carried along your way. Okay, now we do have the door open to that scenario, okay, just like we had over here, but I will point out we have some differences. But we will definitely be paying attention to the possibility that this is going to be the case. All right, so we'll point out throughout this video, well, in within the next 5 minutes, we're going to point out what we're watching on the upside for sellers to step back into the equation. Either way, we're looking for that bounce. We're looking for the rally. Told you guys, I think it was 2 videos ago. 2 weeks of rally, 1 to 2 weeks of rally. That is what we look for. Why? Because even on these dead cat bounces, you still got buyers committing to 1 to 2 weeks of rally, and we still did see a decent, bounce from there. Okay, that was a 4.7% bounce. Guess what, guys? We're only down 4.9%. If that happens, holy crap, everything. All the bears saying, oh no, we're going lower. 533.07 can be tested. It could be tested, right? I don't think it's going to be this tested, this leg right here. But all the people saying that, they would then be, you would have to just accept how it is and accept that, boom, yes, this was a pullback along the broader trend, and we are continuing up to new highs, and boom, you're back in your bull market, okay? Of course, this does not end the bull market. This is just a pullback. I am just going to be very clear and vocal about this. Guys, we are still in this uptrend here on this weekly time frame, and that is that, all right? And you do not close out with a bearish look. Coming down to the daily time frame, let's go over the levels that we are going to be paying attention to. Now, again, I'm going to bring you guys back over here, and I'm going to point out, hey, all right, when you came back down like over here, this was literally back in July 2023, a year ago from today, okay? 1 year ago from today. Obviously not exact, but just about, okay? You started this pullback July 27th, okay? It is now July 27th. As of today, we were talking about this during this video. Okay, so, you are not exactly following that, time-wise, but I will definitely point out, hey, it's fishy that we have the same exact thing happening here in July after having this sick, nasty rally. Now, I understand our rally that we've had since then, it's been even sicker and even nastier, right? It's been freaking juicy. Sweet baby Jesus has been juicy, okay? Now on that rebound, we are going to see if the rally is just going to continue from here or if we are going to stall out here at a golden pocket at the 0.618 fib like you did before. And then we will be, doing something like this where you come up and then boom, you come down and then we open the door to that. But, if we do that, we're probably going a little lower than that. I'm just going to be fully transparent. If we do get this 3-leg lower scenario, that is when we open this possibility right here. All right, guys, so this is the weekly update. We will discuss some larger time frame things, all right, some our macro perspective here. And, you know, this can unfold in two ways. One way is price comes back up here. You're probably going to find sellers here, but you're going to do something like that, and then you go along your way. Or you just consolidate right here at the 0.786 fib, like we've seen, you know, sometimes before, like right over here. I'll just actually point it out. It's going to look like this. If we get what I'm pointing out right now, it's going to look exactly like this. Where you come up, we're going to take this off for the time being. You come up and you stall out right at the 0.786 fib. That's the seller's last, you know, line of defense right there. If they're going to step in, if you're, you know, 100% retracement, they're going to step in right here at the 0.786 fib. Now, if you're not, you know, familiar with how to do this, these are my settings here for the Fibonacci retracement. Probably the question I get asked the most is how do we create the golden pocket? Well, you just saw, go pause the video, go back a little bit, and that is how you create this this exact look I have right here. You're just going to also match down there if you would like. Okay. But that is how that would go. You probably would get a little pullback here, and then you would continue on your way, and then boom. All right, we have much higher to go if that becomes the case, which I'm just going to say with how IWM small caps are looking. Yeah, I do think we are going to continue higher. It's just my opinion. We will see how things unfold over time because, of course, we do like to predict things, but at the end of the day, we do have to react over everything. And that's just that. Okay? So that's scenario number one right here. Scenario number two, you come up here, you stall out just like you did over here, and then you probably put in a lower high right here, and then you're going to break. You have this structure, you're going to break down, and then boom, you have much lower to go there. Okay, now from that low, that would be bringing us down another $12. From this low, that would be bringing us down, you know, over here. And that's why I say if we do get the scenario where we get three leg low, you know, legs down, that is when we are open to this. Okay, so literally this. Now, if you want to see, you know, I know the price actually hasn't done this yet, but let's see what I'm thinking. All right, you got golden pocket there. You're going to have a golden pocket right here. Okay, and then you go lower. And in the end, you tap this golden pocket, the 0.618 fib from this whole rally. All right, so on the weekly time frame, you can see you barely pulled back along this whole rally. This is your impulsive move. If you come back, that is just the retracement of this move. Okay. We've seen this happen before where it's picture perfect. And guess when that was? That was back in July 2023. If you guessed that, you were correct. Okay. Right here, picture perfect. That is what I'm getting at. You do that. You do that. Oh, you get another leg lower. And then boom, you come up, dead cat bounce. You get one more leg lower. So those are the two scenarios moving forward, you know, that can take months to play out. Okay. This was a, you know, decline that took 3 months. Okay. That would be equivalent to us coming into freaking October again, just like we did back over there. That is when my birthday is. All right. October 4th. Mark the date if you would like. No one's going to mark that date, but if you want. All right. Yeah, guys, that's really what we're looking at here. You know, two macro scenarios we got going on there. But in the short term, what do we watch, guys? We are paying attention to this upcoming golden pocket, which does align with the 555.83 resistance. I do think price will get up here. I know it's $10 away. That is only a 2% move. All right. You were down 2% just on this day alone. Give us that, and you're coming up here. Okay. See what I'm saying? Capiche, capiche. There you go. Now, what are the levels we are paying attention to? On the downside of support, we have 540.30. We have 536.89. Of course, we have that major support down at 533.07. And if it is tested, there's your bottom. This daily RSI will be oversold at that point, and that is the point when, hey, you typically bounce back from, and that would be that. Okay, you would have a scenario just like over here, over there, or over there, where you got into oversold territory, and then you'd bounce back. But because of what I'm going to show you in this video, I don't think that's going to be the case. We also do have big tech earnings coming up in FOMC, the big day on Wednesday. All right, so we're going to see what they do with rates and, you know, all of the decisions. We're going to see Papa Powell come on and talk. And I think I saw on Twitter that there is a 100% chance that they change nothing. All right, and if that happens, then the current trajectory of the market, which has been up, is probably going to continue if I had to guess. All right, current trajectory of small caps is probably going to continue if I had to guess. But yeah, on the upside as resistance, guys, if you can reclaim 547.46, if you can get above there, you watch a 550.12, above 550.12, which is going to be a key level. That's where you bounced off of, and then, you know, boom, was a dead cat bounce. You got, you know, going on over here, 555.83, 555.83 is the level we're talking about and watching. It's the key level that I, you know, that's a target for this rally for me right here. Okay. You broke down, you broke and retested there, and then boom, you, after bouncing off this key level, you broke underneath there with the gap down. That's going to be a key spot, and we probably do get sellers stepping in right here, and it could potentially go something like this. All right. But once these rallies really start up, we typically don't get them, you know, pulling back. All right. I'm just going to show over here. Okay. You had this little bounce. All right. We're probably right around right here, like right here. Okay. So maybe we do, you know, put in something like that and then go higher in the end. But, you know, you can see you didn't really pull back. You had that one pullback there and it was short lived one day. And then boom, you went back off the races. Once you start going, you typically just, you could get something like this where you just keep going. You see over here, this whole rally here, there's a big bounce here, almost 4%, $16. Well, that took place over 3 days. All right. You didn't get your pullback. And that's why I say we don't have to get that this time. We can just shoot up, you know? So that's that. And guys, here on this channel, everything is my opinion. No financial advice will be given here on this channel, but I will gladly share my opinion. All right. And I will be vocal about that opinion. And I think this whole, you know, you're buying down here across the board, I'm going to show you a lot of tickers. I think you are going to witness a big rally back up here. And I'm going to point out on these individual tickers where I'm looking for on them. You know, we have a lot of long setups right now. I'm just going to say oversold setups. I'm not going to say they've really shaped up for me or anything like that. You haven't really had a base or anything for us to go off of on a lot of these names. But what you do have is a lot of these daily RSIs sitting, you know, near oversold territory or just in oversold territory. And if the big boys are doing that and the 4-hour RSIs all have 4-hour bullish divergence, then I only can assume you're probably about to, you know, get that spring loaded, you know, pressure getting released there. And we're probably going to be moving to the upside. All right. And that's that. But yeah, that's pretty much it over here on SPY. You watch for above 550.12, 555.83 is the key level that we're paying attention to. And in the end, that is the target of said rally. Okay, that is that. Capiche? Capiche. Moving on to QQQ. What do we got going on there? All right, we're going to start off here with the weekly time frame. What do? We bounced right off of the 0.786 fib from, you know, this extension of this, or this portion, I should say, of this rally. Okay, if you do not hold there, then we're going to be watching here. And in this case, that is, you know, the same thing we talked about SPY, where you're probably going to come up here, reject maybe 473. Maybe you get a little higher because the golden pocket's going to be somewhere over here. All right, maybe you get a little higher, and then boom, we come down to that next key level, and then maybe you're a little short, you get buyer stepping a little early, and then boom, you get something like that, and then you bottom out in the golden pocket, just like bum, bum, bum. I know you didn't come down to the golden pocket, but just like how you had your 3 legs lower right there. Okay, so that would be this scenario playing out right there. And that would be that. But that's really what I got for you guys in this weekly chart. We have increasing volume. You do have that lower wick. We're not going to call this a bullish candlestick. You did break down from that key support right there. But you did find buyers stepping over here at this key support. And again, at this 0.786 fib from this rally. All right, so coming down to the daily time frame, you can see the daily RSI. It's what I was just saying, guys. It got just about oversold. And guess what? If you had one more down day, you were going to see this thing at 30. And at that point, you were going to get a major bounce happen. All right. Like, this is your bear market. This is the lowest it went in a very long time over here. And you still sprung up. Okay. You still ended up, you know, I know it hit oversold on this day right here. I can see that. But guess what? You know, even if you bought the low of that day, or even if you bought the high of that day, all right, that's 5.9% lower. Holy sweet baby Jesus, 7% lower, but then you had that massive rally. Now, again, that's bear market volatility. We do have VIX elevated right now, so we are, you know, having this excited market. It's kind of a perfect time for VIX to be elevated, in my personal opinion. You got the big tech earnings, all right? So that's what brings the volatility. We open the door for a VIX crush. We open the door for, you know, volatility back to the upside, okay? That's kind of what I'm expecting from next week's big tech earnings. We have, I think we'll talk about them when we go over the big boys, all right? But we have a lot of them reporting earnings this week, so that is that. Now, here on QQ's daily time frame, like I pointed out, daily RSI, it came down to 33.67. You started curling back up. Now, I saw on Twitter, depending on what, you know, settings you use on your RSI, some were showing, 2 different people showing an RSI oversold. All right. I'm just putting it out there, regardless on what I watch for. this thing downside is it's very limited. I just went back. Like that was 3 years of data right there, 2.5 to 3 years of data. And guess what? You know, this condition has not failed us. Okay. Sometimes you might have to sit through a red. You are buying a falling knife if you're doing so. And there are better ways to go about it. You can just wait for momentum to come back. You typically will get a signal. All right. But at the end of the day, guys, you know, a bunch of these things are oversold. They are going to, you know, not continue falling. Things don't just straight up fall. They don't straight up rally. You get these constant pullbacks. You know, whichever way your trend is, you get the pullbacks in that direction. So you are definitely going to be getting that pullback. And my target, my short-term target for this week is going to be 473.82. You see, I got that alert going on up there. I can only assume that's because that's where the golden pocket is. I'm guessing that is why I set that alert up there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, if you get up here, you're just going to test up here. That's why I got it going on. Okay. I'm also going to set one right there. There you go. Just to be ready for that. Obviously, I'll be watching it intraday when it happens, but but either way, you know, you never know. You always, I like having a crap ton of alerts. I think it's worth paying a little more for trading views so you can have an absolute crap ton of alerts. So you can, you know, if you watch a lot of tickers, that's just kind of how it be. But yeah, guys, above 473.82, you have really nothing until this, you know, gap sitting up there. But above there, 480.14, you don't have anything till 486.86. So that is going to be the key level that I am going to be paying attention to. If we start rebounding into that area, that's where we expect sellers to step in. And again, it could go, you know, could turn into we got going on here where you stall out here at the you know, golden pocket right there, 0.786 fib. You came up and tapped it directly. That would be all the way up at 493. Okay. So we have two key levels we're watching. That golden pocket's 486.86 and then 490.73. All right, just to run through a little breakdown of what we just went through, because I know, guys, it is a lot. Unless you're in this world, if you're new to this world, guess what? You know, this is all gonna seem like hieroglyphics, and you know, it's all kind of crazy. But in reality, it's pretty simple once you know what you're looking at. Okay, daily RSI is oversold, bounce off the 0.786 fib, almost tapped her. Did you tap? I think you missed it by a couple cents, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. All right. The low was 455.63 over here. You missed it by our key level there by 5 cents. Okay. But you did bounce off that 0.786 fib, which is what I like to see. You know, buyers are stepping in. They don't want that 100% retracement. They don't want it coming back down to 449.34. They don't want it. That is what that shows me. We did point out over the last few videos that, hey, all right, we don't have what we typically get for a bottom yet. As of, you know, that right there, I said, hey, it's right around the corner. I'm 100% certain of that. But we're going to get one of two things happening across the board. We're going to see hammer candlesticks, like a candlestick signal, mark a bottom. That's typically what we see, just like that. Or we are going to see a gap up start that move, all right, which is same thing we got going on over here, same thing we got going on over here, right? That's what I typically do see. It's one of those two things. Vast majority of the time, we're going to say 95% of the time when the price reverses on any ticker, it is going to be from a gap up, a gap and go, where that just starts. You know, you start the day off right, and boom, sometimes shorts like to cover, and that's when you start that move. Or, you know, shorts are winning at first. They bring you down. Things look really, really freaking bleak. And then boom, you hit it with a big intraday reversal and you print a bullish candlestick. It's one or the other. We didn't have either back over here, but we started that up as of Friday. We did get our gap up. So that's really what I'm looking at over here, guys. We have, you know, what I wanted to see to start the reversal process. It is now started. You know, as long as you're above 460.58, I could just say, hey, you don't really have anything until you come up here. You could put some smaller levels on, like this high over here at 467.94. But above 467.94, you're coming straight to 473.82, and that's a key level that I'm paying attention to. Above 473.82, 480.14 is what you're paying attention to. Above 480.14, 486.86, and then 490.73. I do think it is possible that we hit these this week or get somewhere up here. Okay, over the next 2 weeks, I think we probably get up here at the 486.86. That's just, you know, my target for the next 2 weeks. This week's target, 473.82, though. Okay, that's that. IWM, what do we got going on here? We'll start off with the weekly time frame. You can already see what I got, you know, going on there. I'm not going to take it off for now. I'm just going to talk about it. Guys, when we get a big upper wick like that, and then you know, you didn't engulf the wick, this week, but you just about closed out at the high of that large upper wick we got going on from the previous week. This is typically a sign that you are going to keep going. All right, that's typically what I see. You can kind of see it right here. You faded the wick, you just kept going. It was like the halfway mark. I think you are probably going to keep going. I was very vocal about when you got this breakout over here of CPI right here. This thing looks like it's about to break up, and then boom, the next day we did end up seeing it break out of this, long-term thing. And we were saying, hey, if you can get up there, you're pushing, you're coming all the way up here to 227.13. Within days, you reach 226.64. All right. So yeah, I think it's very clear to say we have a strong break on our hands. You could very clearly see all of the volume going on over here. Okay, I understand the daily RSI is, up and overbought territory, but as we could see, sometimes the thing likes to stay up there just like that when it really goes. I think that is probably going to remain the case. All right, now back to this weekly time frame over here. You engulfed that pretty much, all right? This is your sign of strength right there that we're probably going to keep going. Above 227.13, guys, you really have nothing until this whole thing. So, like, from a weekly chart perspective, this thing probably is just getting started, all right? And it's either going to happen how you're looking at it right there, all right? Or you're just going to freaking do something like this, some crazy stuff, and go straight up there. Like, it's one or the other with how this chart is looking to me. Okay, so, that's my macro perspective on IWM over here, the small caps. You come over here, the daily time frame, and you could see we got, same thing on that weekly wick. You could see it represented over here, except, not, as big, but you definitely could see where the sellers are stepping in at. They were defending the 22280 level, 22280 that is. They were defending that. You couldn't get your daily close after that. There was, proved to be a false breakout right here above that level, and then you got sucked back in, and you literally consistently got sellers stepping in right there. Guess what? You gapped above it, and typically when we see you gap up into the top of these wicks, I don't see you fade them. All right, so when things were looking real ugly on Friday, I was kind of just sitting there. I was like, I went and back tested this morning on what happens on IWM when you gap up into the top of a wick, and most of the time you do end up going higher. All right. I think we had a recent occurrence of this. I don't know where that recent occurrence was. Oh, right here. All right. It was right here. I was paying attention. I was like, this looks very, very similar to that we got going on over there where you gapped up into the top of it. And now, guys, you closed above them. All right. So you closed above 222.80. And if you can get above 224.86, the next level is going to be that 227.13 resistance. We were finally going to test it. I know. It took so much time. Psych. It took 2 weeks. That is that. Patience is a virtue. Okay. Higher prices, guys. Higher prices. That is what we're looking for out of the small caps over here. And as support, you got 218.24 and 215.82 on the downside. But considering how this, react down here, this daily 9 and those levels, I think we probably are going to just continue higher from here. And that's what I'm looking for. All right. Maybe off of FOMC, we get some nice news for small caps, and we can continue this train. All right. That is that. DIA. All right. On the week, you closed out with a bullish weekly candlestick. Again, same concept. You got this large upper wick. When you fade these upper wicks, you typically go higher than them. Okay. That was, I know, only $4 higher, but imagine us getting all the way up here towards 420. People would be like, holy crap, that's crazy. All right. Well, you came back, you retested this key level, 401. That was your previous all-time high over here. What was that, like 8 weeks ago? Guess what? All right, you're probably going higher from here. You hit it with a bullish candlestick. I understand, volume isn't as heavy as it was last week, but at the end of the day, you printed some bullish price action off of this, and I like what I'm seeing. Over here, we knew you just had the fresh breakout from this half a year long range. I think it's 7-month range. We knew that was the case, all right, or 6-month range, whatever it is. We knew that was the case. So on this pullback, didn't matter where it was happening. We were expecting the higher low, higher than over here. Okay, we weren't expecting it to fully retrace. 401 was your support. Underneath there, you had 395.59. Guess what? You didn't want to test that. I'm going to take it off just to clean up the chart there because I don't think it's going to be tested. I think we're going to continue here. All right. 413.86 is a short-term target over here on DIA. I think it will be tested probably this week. You get a good FOMC reaction going here. Powell saves the markets. probably gets tested this week. Coming over here to VIX, we're going to finish off the indices with Mr. VIX, and I will point out you get the daily bearish divergence on that RSI. All right, that is not the prettiest look over there, guys. When you see VIX's RSI getting up here, you look for VIX crush unless you're crashing. And from the action we just saw, guys, all right, it wasn't a crash. A crash is when the thing just skyrockets and you don't have time. All right, you don't have time to react. It's just like, holy crap, I just lost all my money overnight. If you were in options, they're dead now. They're completely dead. And that's how that would have gone. People would be panicking. That's a crash. It happens overnight. You get them, minus 3% gap downs. We didn't get anything of the sort. Okay, I understand there was over here on QQ minus 1% gap down. I understand. All right, 1.3%. I get it, but that is not a crash. So, we were very, very vocal about that here on this channel. And I will, continuously remind you guys when we see these things that, hey, these are when you're buying. These are when your only real buying opportunities are here in the market. And right now, even with the long term, I see a crap ton of buying opportunities for the long term, like, on these big boys that we will cover right after we finish Mr. VIX. When you print a candlestick like this, you probably are going to get some continuation to the downside, so you get crushed. We will watch to see the reaction off of 1488 and underneath there, 1367. That is what I'm paying attention to, which I'm actually going to change this level completely. We're going to bring it right over there. Okay, 1388. You can see that is where your reactions were over there. And that is that. So that's what we're paying attention to over on Mr. VIX. Now let's talk about these big boys, guys. All right. Tesla. Underneath 214.71, you watch for 205.60, which I think is a buying opportunity. It's not the best buying opportunity, but it is the top of this, very long range you had going on here. And it is the 0.618 fib right there. The best buying opportunity along this is going to be 191.08. Now, I don't think it gets down there. I think it probably tests right here and continues on its way. But in the short term, what are you paying attention to? Underneath 214.71, 205.60. If you can break above this range that was defined by this candlestick, this one candlestick right there. All right, 225.99. Above there, you watch 230.72, and you watch to see what the reaction of that level is. And that's that. Okay, now moving over here to Amazon, this is one of these guys that has earnings this week, right? Now on Thursday, we will have Amazon earnings, and what happens? Your daily RSI is down here near oversold territory where it has been bouncing for freaking years. All right, years. Here to here. 1.5 to 2 years, 1.75 years, we'll call it. You have been bouncing when you got down here. Your 4-hour RSI has a bullish divergence. Regular hours, you got the bullish divergence. What happens when you come over here to extended hours? You got the same exact thing, guys. You came down and you found buyers off the 0.786 fib. This thing is very, very, very likely going to have an upward reaction to this earnings. All right. That is how most of these are setting up to go. And if that happens, the large components are, reacting positively, getting these big gap ups off earnings. That is what's going to move the indices higher. That's your catalyst. You have that in FOMC. One or the other that's going to do it this week. So that is that. Moving on, though, to Microsoft. How you looking over here, guys? You came down here, daily RSI sitting at 31.70. All right. And, quick little plug. Go follow the Twitter if you're not already following it. You can get that link down in the description below. Because, hey, there are things that I will call out on the spot there. And maybe you want to get alerted on those things. Okay. Guess what? The last one was down here at the 0.786 fib, saying this was probably bottom. You had an immediate reaction off that level the other day. You came down, you closed at the level. You got the opportunity to run it back if you really wanted to on a 0DT Friday. All right. We know there's buyers down there. You got to reclaim this 9 EMA here. And the tough spot is getting back above 430.82 because you have this downtrend, or it's not downtrend, an uptrend that you broke down from. You're now going to be retesting that. So you watch 430.82 for sellers to step back in. But if you can reclaim that level, hey, the next spot is really 445.66. That is 445.66. Above there, 458. Above there, 468.35. Now here on the weekly time frame, you could see it came right from the 0.786 fib. This thing consolidated in here for a while, all right? Like a while before you broke up. That is 4 months. You broke out, okay? And your breakout only lasted 1 month. There's no way it was only 1 month. I count more than 1 month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, what am I talking about? This is like, this is a 2-month breakout. Why is my thing only showing 42 days there? I don't like it. Regardless, all right? You had like 2 months of breakout here with a 4-month range. I call BS. I say you have increasing volume as you come back into that. It's probably going to be, capitulation / buyers, okay? Taking their position off that capitulation style event. And yeah, that's kind of how I'm seeing this weekly chart right here. You come back to retest the top of the range, held the golden pocket right there from this, most recent thing. And you're probably going to continue higher after this. This was your buying opportunity. I understand earnings are right there to juice them premiums, but you got those on Tuesday. And, I'm just saying these are, the long-term buys that I think, hey, like investors, you just got your opportunity. Swing traders, you're getting your opportunity. Like it is that easy. That's how we are, looking at this market right now. Moving on to Meta. What do we got going on over here? Printing a hammer candlestick right off the support after sweeping those lows. You do have the daily bullish divergence going on here. You have a higher high over here. You have a lower low over here. Okay. You hit it with the gap up after printing your hammer candlestick. It makes sense. All right. So now you watch for these reactions. Above 465.04, you watch for 475.71. Above there, you watch 482.50. Above there, 492.39. And then we have the big 510 level. Now, here's the thing, guys. Okay? Here's the thing. You have earnings right around the corner, and it's known to have these big moves. You had a big move last time. But your daily RSI was not sitting where it was, and your 4-hour RSI was also not sitting where it was. You had it sitting way up in the sky over here, and then you had room to absolutely freaking die. And then it got right down to oversold. Right now, we don't have that look. We have a bullish look going into this instead of that. Okay? This is probably going to be getting its rebound, and I am just going to point out you are also in a golden pocket from this whole freaking decline. Or this whole rally, and now, like, for this decline, this is the golden pocket. This thing is probably going to rip faces. I don't know what else to say about these things, guys. I think these are going to benefit QQQ very much this week. That is that. Earnings is on Wednesday, July 31st. We have a freaking gun show going on this week, guys. All right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right? Apple, what do you also got going on? Oh, earnings on Thursday. You're joining Mr. Amazon, right? Guess what? This is the daily time frame. You're seeing buyers step in over here. You come to the 4-hour time frame. What do you got going on over here? All right, 4 hours RSI hit oversold territory. If you break down into this earnings event, you're setting up with a bullish divergence on that 4-hour RSI, or you just have it back in oversold territory. It's probably about to get that upward reaction. Probably not going to cliff dive off of Apple earnings right when you have the iPhone 16 launch about to come out. It's about to come out, guys. This thing, they're about to talk about it. And I'm not going to guarantee a big, earnings gap up here. But I will say this chart just broke out. Okay? Price just broke out from this massive area of resistance you had for a whole year. Just broke out from it. You have like 2 months of breakout. You're probably not coming back to it. All right? You probably are getting this dip just like you got that dip over there, and it's probably going to be a higher high or a higher low into a higher high. Those are my thoughts over there, but you are in the golden pocket finding buyers, and that is looking good to me. We're going to take off this 220.20 level right there, and I am just going to say the key levels that you are paying attention to are 222.27 and 225.77. Above there, you watch for 230.44, which would align with that golden pocket. Goog. It's another one of those things, just like Microsoft was just saying, hey, this is your long-term buying opportunity. Investors coming out the woodworks, all right? This is what we're talking about, all right? You got this heavy volume here. This is your capitulation volume, okay? That is what's going on here. This thing printed a pin bar candlestick off of support, right off of 265.76 support, all right? You missed it again, just like we saw, on another ticker we covered in this video, by cents, okay? By 10 cents to be specific. The low was 87. This is 76, all right? So that's like, 11 cents going on right there. You clearly can see buyers down there. Daily RSI is now oversold. It's at 31.84. Guys, for years, it's been your buying opportunity. I can't make this more clear. I can't, all right? I cannot. I do understand. You had a full-on retracement here, okay? But at the end of the day, this thing is probably not going much lower. It's probably not going lower from here. This is probably your bottom. And you already had earnings, so premiums are not juiced. I say free money on Goog, and that's that. You started getting your signal that buyers are coming in that we typically get at bottoms, either with, you get some sort of signal. Like I said before, gap and go, bullish candlestick, or you get like, another bullish candlestick, which would be the bullish engulfing candlestick. It's kind of, you got three options at these bottoms, how they form, all right? Or they base out and then break up from the range. But that's typically what I see. And, we started that. And you are in oversold territory, so I do have to assume you are going to be moving up from here. And those are the big boys, guys. Those are the big boys. What are we going to cover next? We're covering chips. All right, SMH, guys. SMH, daily RSI, it hit a low of 34.62. You bounce right off of that 230.05 level, and again, you missed it by cents. The low was 230.82. Okay? That's a whole, 80 cents going on there. That's okay. That is okay. It's actually like, what, 73 cents? Something like that? I don't know. Regardless, you came down to it. You printed a bullish candlestick. It's slash a long leg dozy indecision candlestick. So you don't know, which side is taking control from here. You got to just wait and see. And then we got the gap up, which does suggest buyers are trying to take control from here. Come down to the 4-hour time frame, and you can see you got this massive 4-hour bullish divergence here, which I know I didn't show it over here on QQQ. You got the same thing going on over here. We don't get these things happening unless you're about to, bounce back up. You put in a 4-hour bullish divergence, you have these big bounces, all right? We have one very clearly loading here. It's spring loaded, and it's getting ready to move, all right? But back up to SMH, the chips are going to be leading this market. You have this clear downtrend to pay attention to. If you break up from that downtrend, we test 250.85 up to 255.92. That is the zone. It should act as supply that I am going to be paying attention to, but this thing is spring loaded, and it's ready to go. And that is that. Now, how do we close out on the weekly, guys? You have that lower wick stemming from right here at 239.14. We did hold that level. That is good. It is a good look. You got heavy volume. I like how things are shaping up. I really do. All right, so I'm looking for upside, specifically right here, but you're probably going to test 263.08 and 268.14 if, we start moving up to the targets that I mentioned over there on SPY and QQ for this rally. That's that. NVIDIA. What do we got going over here? Of course, you got that golden pocket to pay attention, but you can see these arrows, guys, above 116.72. You watch for a test of 121.03. Above there, you watch 124.58, which should be where sellers start really stepping in. 127.05 was that key level that we broke down from over here. So that's the, my target for this, okay? 127.05, and that is that. Now, on the weekly chart, this thing closed out with a pin bar candlestick off of increasing volume. It also closed out, getting that positive reaction off that level. And this is one that did test it and only went under it by, again, cents, pennies here. 106.30 was the low. 106.48 was the level we were paying attention to. You went under it by 18 cents. Okay. The thing is going to be moving back up. This is NVIDIA. If everything else is recovering, NVIDIA is going to recover. You come over to the 4-hour time frame. What do we got? We have a massive bullish divergence. Okay, but you also have one right here. Okay, so you got the little guy, you have the massive one. This thing is spring loaded as well. It's getting ready to go. And if everything else is going to be going, NVIDIA is certainly going to be participating in that rally. INTC, you are down here at 31.37. That's your break and retest from this top of the range here you got going on here for like, what, a month-long range? Just a little over there. You have now revisited that. This is where you want buyers to start stepping in from. Okay, but at the end of the day, you have broken below that 0.786 fib. So this is the weakest of the chip stocks that I personally, again, no financial advice will be given on this channel, but I would say, hey, why is someone going to pick this one to play when this has showed you no strength in these conditions? All right, these oversold conditions, it's not the one to, it's just don't play it. Again, no financial advice. Do whatever you want with your money. But, right there. SMCI. Now, this is one that, hey, you had the daily RSI literally coming underneath 30, 29.87. You printed that long-legged doji over there. You had a hammer candlestick at the, at the start. Then it turned into that. Then you hit it with the gap up. So we got two of those conditions. Okay, you can see all my arrows showing similar conditions. Okay. But as you could see, oversold. support, bullish candlestick setup, we're probably going to combine those factors to get a bounce. All right. If I had to guess where that bounce goes, we'll be right up here. All right. We'll mark it with a zone right there, over there. Okay. So you're watching 741.22 to 762.63 for acceptance. Can you get accepted above that? This is the bottom of this previous range. You were in this for quite some time. All right. 2.5 months. You come back into it, expect sellers there. All right. That's what I'd be looking for. And that is that. But again, earnings right around the corner. This is not next week, though. It is the following week. That's that. Moving over to ARM. All right. Big break and retest going on here. If you do come down, you're watching that oversold RSI, guys. I'm going to honestly set an alert here. Just, in case we do end up seeing this. And this turns into a big thing. This thing can really get moving here. And I like it. Okay. Crossing. We're going to do 35. All right, just so we know when it's happening and we get some time to talk about it when that becomes the case. If it can't hold here, it's going to have a retracement, and that's going to mean you coming all the way down here to 125. You're currently at 149. That would be a big spill, okay? So you really do have an incentive here for buyers to hold. This is your big, if you're on the weekly chart, you could also see it. Your big spot right here that you broke above. This looks sexy. All right. It looks like you're probably going to continue back off of the races. All right. And these upward levels here, you're probably going to test them on that rally. And that is that. Okay. I'm actually going to take those off. In the meantime, we can re-add them after. Okay. That is that. That's really what I'm seeing over there on ARM. Big spot here. Again, 4-hour RSIs, though. Bullish divergences right as you come into big spots. Earnings right around the corner. You're probably getting a bullish reaction to that. DSM. All right. DSM, you did end up breaking down underneath that, 0.786 fib there. Almost got the 100% retracement down at the low was 147.81. Okay, you got as low as like 152 here. You did print that pin bar candlestick, which isn't the worst look. I don't like that you're underneath the 9, but we've seen worse looks before and they've recovered. So let's see how this thing goes. Okay, daily RSI is sitting down there. 4-hour RSI has that same exact bullish divergence I just showed on the other chips. The chip sector as a whole is going to snap back. All right. You are testing your downtrend right there. You actually got a fresh breakout in the after hours. This thing's getting ready to go. Okay. It is getting ready to go. Now, this is also one that you don't have premiums being all juiced up. Same thing as the next one. MU. Daily RSI actually did get underneath 30. You hit 28.47. And what happened? You started that gap up. Okay. You came down to the support at 105.72. And as of the next day, you recovered 108.75 support. Now, above 108.75, we watch for a test of 113.64. If it can reclaim there, 116.34 is the level to pay attention to. All right. Now, above there, we watch for 121.01, which is where I think it's heading back up to. And then in the end, back up here to around 130. That's what I think is going to be tested. 130. That's MU for you. AMD came down, closed right at your long-term uptrend. I know it's not low yet. There we go. You see that arrow? That's because that's where I think it's going. If AMD earnings right around the corner on Tuesday, okay, right around the corner. You were probably going to get a bullish reaction to that. You started getting your gap up right there. You printed an inside day. Now you're right under previous support, so that's not a good thing. You got to reclaim 141.15, but above there, you really have absolutely nothing until you test 148.78. So I have to assume that is the path that it's going to take if it reclaims 141.15. Above there, you watch for 153.64. Okay. I thought the tides were changing over here on AMD. This is why on this channel and just, my own personal trading, I refer to AMD as a troll. I avoid AMD because this thing has hurt me in the past. So, trauma affects our decisions moving forward. And AMD is one that has kind of for a while now proven to be a free control. That is that. It eventually will probably have another move. Okay, like a big move, but for the meantime, it's a troll, and we have a whole crap ton of just choppy price action constantly. There's better chip stocks to play. That is what I'm getting at. But you do have the daily RSI sitting in oversold territory, and for years now, that has been your buying opportunity when it is down, near oversold territory. You actually did hit 30, 29.93, right off that long-term uptrend. First touch point is over there. Second touch point right there. Okay, we can actually change that right there. All right. 1, 2, 3. This is your fourth. You're probably going to hold it with how it's looking. That's AMD for you. All right. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. We'll start off here the weekly chart. All right. Weekly candle, guys. It is printing a bullish candlestick after this wide body bar, showing that bulls were in full control. After this also wide body bar showing bulls were in full control. Sellers tried taking control by the end of the week. Now we have 1 day and 7 hours left. You have, boom, fully recovered back up to the highs. And now bulls, okay, they are starting to retake control here. We're going to see how this next candlestick prints next week. But as of right now, this thing ain't looking bad at all. It looks like it wants to test the highs. All right, this zone right up here. And if it does test it, it's probably going to break it. Probably not going to get rejection. Just my opinion. All right, we've been bullish since right down here. Then you got your breakout. We got real bullish. Guess what? We are still bullish. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about the miners in a sec here. We're going to kick it off with coin. All right. Coin's not looking bad. Bounce off the 0.786 fib. Earnings on Thursday. Again, so many of these larger, companies have earnings. Coin's not the largest, but it is the largest, Bitcoin stock. Besides, you have Mester over here. Mester's looking real good. We'll talk about Mester first. All right, which is just MicroStrategy. MSTR is the ticker. All right, you just broke above this, key high right there, this key level. All right, you clear as day see, a bunch of rejection. Pull back to the golden pocket. Boom. You found buyers stepping in. You had this descending channel. We pointed out that it was looking good. And we gave a path for this to go. And if I do remember, it was probably something like this. Stupid freaking there. Probably something like this. We get, sellers stepping over there, coming up here. I'm pretty sure this is what we had at the time, was that. You have almost followed that, and you were just seeing these things, print perfect price action. I don't know how else to say it. This is what I was saying at the beginning of the video. Things don't go perfectly down. They don't go straight down. They don't go straight up. They do exactly what we're seeing MicroStrategy do right here, where it's you're going up, you get these pullbacks, you're going up, you get these pullbacks. Oh, boom, another pullback. You continuously test for liquidity. You continuously test and have these, what I like to call market auctions, to test the waters. All right. Well, you based above this key level here, break and retest. Boom. You went off the races. You tested again. You tested the waters, and then you're testing this other key spot. That's why I say, hey, all right, even if we're about to get a dead cat bounce and continue lowering the indices over, the next, we'll say month and a half, 2 months, you're still looking for a rally over the coming 1 to 2 weeks. With what we watch here on the channel, what I've shown you, my due diligence suggests 1 to 2 weeks of rally is right around the corner. It's probably going to be a sick, nasty one. So that's MicroStrategy. I think it is heading up to 1999.99, 1099. 1,999.99. That is that weekly chart, printing that pin bar candlestick of that key level. I really like the look of this. It looks like it's getting ready to explode. I know they announced a split. All right, you got earnings right around the corner too. Thursday. All right, probably get a bullish reaction to that if I had to take a guess. But come back over to coin, guys. Weekly chart, what'd you print? Not a terrible looking candlestick. You got the pin bar candlestick. It does suggest we probably, not probably. We're seeing bulls start to take control of that candle. You have a lower wick that's heavier than the, that's longer than the upper wick. Bulls were, starting to take control there. Guess what? You also held this key spot, and depending how these earnings goes, you could see this thing launch up. That's just how, I'm just going to say my opinion, just outright. But I am also going to say most of these earnings on Coin, Mara, Riot, CLSK, they don't bring anything. All right. So expect IV crush, expect your premiums to crush, expect, that's your opportunity. Once they do crush, then we typically do see a positive earnings reaction, but it follows earnings. Okay. It follows earnings. I know you started it with this, but then you got your pullback, and then boom, that's the move following earnings. Come over here. You had this move. I know you had that, but then following earnings, you had a really big move. Over here, okay, you did not have that become the case, okay? Come over here, though, boom, and you had that move following earnings. I know it's not a big boy, but there's that. You guys see what I'm saying? Earnings could very well crush IV, premiums, and then we get that move following earnings because we have a bullish setup. There's no denying that. All right, CLSK. Now, here's what brings me to my next point here, guys. We have small caps. They want to rally. They want to continue their rally. You get Bitcoin pushing back up the highs. All right. You get Bitcoin at 70K. CLSK, Mara, Riot, they're going to have a good time. All right. Pull back to the 0.786 fib. You printed that, opposite of a spinning top candlestick. You open yourself with the island reversal. You hit it with the island reversal. Got the increasing volume on this indecision candlestick on Friday. You have earnings right around the corner, not this week, but the following Tuesday. And, I know premiums are juiced heading into that. But at the same time, guys, CLSK is a prime candidate here. CLSK and Mara Riot, in my opinion, those are prime candidates to participate in both of these rallies at the same time, which in that case, you probably do have another massive breakout coming. Okay. This thing has had so much consolidation here. We are going to see this thing explode at some point. It's going to explode to the upside, not with how it's consolidating. It's not going to come to the downside. It could. All right. But it's extremely unlikely. This thing is such a bullish weekly chart. You are waiting. You're spring loaded. Just give us a catalyst, which could be IWM and Bitcoin both rallying at the same time. All right. And then maybe a good earnings reaction. You could really see some explosions out of CLSK over here, just my opinion. All right. And that is that on CLSK. Mara, guys, same thing. You've been consolidating for a long time. Okay. Long time. It's pretty much the same amount of time, just a little longer. You probably are going to, hit it with the breakout from this cup and handle pattern. You also had this inverse head and shoulders pattern. The neckline was right up here. Okay, you broke out above that. And now you're just consolidating. All right. So how I see this is all a massive cup and handle pattern. This thing's getting ready to go. You get IWM and Bitcoin moving at the same time in the upward direction. This thing's probably going to go. Mara loves to crush premiums and have absolutely no reaction off of earnings over here. Like pretty much every single time, we don't get a reaction off of earnings. So don't play it. No financial advice will be given on this channel, but do not play these Mara earnings. Just don't do it to yourself. Okay, we can go back a very long time. You get absolutely no movement off of these freaking earnings. And yeah, they're, crumbs. Don't do it. All right, so that's that. Your premiums, they will be crushed throughout this earnings event, and I stand by that opinion with what we just looked at. All right, I just showed you what I derive my opinion from, which is the past. Okay, so the only thing we have to go off of, use it to your advantage. Came down to this uptrend though. Okay, came down to the uptrend. You got increasing volume on this gap over here. Same thing as CLSK, hit it with the island reversal. And I do want to point out, all right, yes, I do think premiums are going to be crushed, but I do think we have a big move to the upside loading over here on Mara. I think this is your buying opportunity for that. Maybe it doesn't move into that earnings event, and then maybe take the position after that. Again, no financial advice will be given on this channel, but that is, my thoughts, black and white right there. Just wait till after the earnings and then take your large position if you want to catch that move. But I would not be taking a large position before earnings, because I just showed you, like, that's like 10 earnings that you just saw IV crush every single time. You don't want that. Okay, it's bad juju. You don't want that. Moving on to Riot, though, you came back, you retested the top of this previous trading range. All right, you have 3-month range you got going on over there. This thing is probably going to continue higher after this pullback. This is also one, just like Mara there, just like CLSK, that, hey, if you get the small cap rally continuing, you get the Bitcoin rally continuing, and you really break some key levels there on Bitcoin, this thing's probably going to have a lot of money pour into it, just like Mara and Riot. And at that point, we could literally just see a straight up move to 1434 over here following the 1265 breakout. Those are my thoughts over here on Riot. All right, now moving on, we're going to hit it with the speed round because we already are at a 53-minute video. And, I know people have short attention spans. So that is that. Now we're going to go over some of the trade setups that I see that are, out there. I'm not going to call these A+ setups, but I will definitely say some of them are loading. Some of them are giving us pullback opportunities. Some of them closed out with bullish weekly candlesticks. All of them I do think have further upside incoming, and they definitely have the potential for that. All right, or the reversal setup. So let's run through it, starting with Target. All right, Target, I want to point out, weekly chart. All right, this thing just broke out. You print an indecision candlestick. You can clearly see bulls are trying to, take control here. That is what this weekly candlestick says to me. Bulls are trying to take control. Here on the daily time frame, you can see you pulled back to the 0.786 fib from this, rally right there. You found buyers, and, we just had that fresh breakout here. I know it's taking its time, but you probably are going to see this resolved higher and eventually run up to this golden pocket. Okay. And that is that. It could take its time. It's fine. It's a slow mover. It's target. SoFi, big one with small caps. All right. Weekly time frame. We just printed a hammer candlestick stemming off of a key level. That $7 level. The low was $7. That is a perfect reaction to that level. This is a sign of strength. Buyers, I know sellers started taking control over here, but buyers took control this week. All right. Or at least they're starting to. If we get a big wide body bar here, we know they have full control, and we're probably testing 910 up here. At the end of the day, this is what's coming. All right, you're coming up here to $9.10. That's your key level. I'm actually going to change that. We're going to make it a weekly level. I derived that from the daily time frame. Right over here at $9.18. That is the level we are paying attention to on the upside over here on SoFi. That is that. All right, but this weekly candlestick, that's what's really speaking to me right here. You get this little consolidation period, pull back to a key level right under there. If you were a fall, hey, we're just watching 667, but at the end of the day, you didn't do that, and you closed out with a bullish weekly setup. And yeah, this thing's probably going higher from here. That is that. All right, Disney, again, it's got potential here. It's at the 0.786 fib. I'm definitely going to say there's no sign of strength going on here on Diz, just like I pointed out on this day right here when you gap down. I'm just going to say the thing is going to clap back at some point. Is it going to be now? I don't know, but your weekly RSI is now coming down to 30. You're coming down to that 88.69 key level over there. That was the low of this candlestick, and you're up right above the 0.786 fib, starting to see buyers trying to hold the line. We're going to see if they do. We really are. You got earnings right around the corner on August 7th. All right. Not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And at that point, we watch for a retest of 94.83 up to 96.51. If you can get above there, 127, 104.21. But, you know, this isn't one that I think is going to immediately move here. I'm just saying, hey, if you want to put it on your radar. Pan W. We're in a bullish weekly candlestick over here off of our key level of off of 324.68. Also above the 9 EMA. I like the look of this thing. I know, you know, it's not pretty in the short term, but at the end of the day, it is just consolidating here in a bull flag-like manner and is probably going to resolve with an upward resolution, and you're going to go like that, okay? Earnings is way around the corner. This one does not have them juice premiums, but hey, if you are, you know, a believer in this thing that's going to continue this breakout, then this is your spot. You want to take that shot. Okay. That is that right there in the golden pocket is Pan W for your INTC. We already went over that one. We're not going to talk about IREN. Excuse me. I swear whenever I try and talk fast, I get these hiccups. And that is that. Weekly chart looking absolutely phenomenal. You retested a key level this week at 969. All right. Underneath 969, you have nothing until 814. Your 0.618 fib is at 850. You come down here, expect buyers, okay? I'm not saying you do because of how Bitcoin is looking, and that's that. But this is very clearly your buying opportunity over here on IREN. If you miss this and just watch from the sidelines and you want to play, this is your chance. Carvana, all right? You printed a bullish weekly candlestick right off of a key level, as well as, you know, if we just take out all the clutter here, we're going to make that the key level right here. We'll put on the magnet again. All right, we'll make that your key level. Now you're really just looking sexy, all right? You're looking like you're basing above the previous high here, just like you did over here. And, you know, it looks like you're going to continue on. You're still in this, you know, major uptrend here. Printing a weekly bullish candlestick. Daily chart isn't looking so sexy, but at the end of the day, all right, you had bears. All right, bears were taking, like, you know, bulls had the shot. Bears took control by the end of the day. And then, boom, you gapped up. Same concept I talked about on IWM where you gap up to almost the top of the wick. And you're like, you know, this thing's probably not going to fade. This is probably going to take out the top of the wick. And then you have anybody who took short positions underwater. And, you know, then you might get some further upside going from there. Typically what it says to me when we get these candlesticks acting like this, now you're doing that, and, you know, I have to assume you're probably going to be running up to the highs. So, you know, put it on the radar. I'm not going to be playing it, but put it on your radar if you'd like. That's the purpose of all of these, the speed round here of, you know, going over my trade ideas. You can see all of the freaking charts that I just handpicked that look nice. They have potential. If one speaks to you, watch it. That's how I say use this info that I give you on a weekly basis. That is that. All right, Roku, again with the bullish weekly candlestick. You came back, you retested this downtrend going on right here. Okay, parallel. It's literally, I literally took that and went like that. Retest that parallel channel, retested your golden pocket. You found buyers stepping in near that 0.786 fib, down at this zone that you reclaimed. Okay, your demand zone. This thing honestly doesn't look bad. I'm not going to say it's not sloppy. It certainly is. That's why I pointed out over here. I said, take it with a grain of salt. This is one that, I don't typically watch because it's a troll. All right. It continuously gets false breakouts, stuff like that. That's what we had over here. But now, hey, this is literally your pullback buying opportunity if you are a believer over here in Roku, and you do have earnings right around the corner. So again, premiums are going to be juiced. Roku likes that big moves off of earnings, as you could see. Not all the time, but a lot of the time you have these big moves, and that is that. I think it's probably going to be the upside. We'll see how this goes. BA, this is I will call this your A+ setup that I'm definitely just going to shove right in your face here. You have earnings right around the corner, but you got your first daily close over this downtrend. Look at how long this downtrend is going for. You clearly have sellers respecting this. Price is respecting the downtrend. You just got above it with increasing volume. All right, you just got above it. This is the start of a breakout on BA. All right, you also have this potential inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. All right, but guys, this is like honestly a sexy setup in my personal opinion. The only downside is you got earnings right here. Juice of premiums. Those are on Wednesday. Let's watch for the freaking reaction off of Boeing. ZOM. All right, ZOM. We pointed this out over here when you were retesting it, and I'm just gonna say, all right, it's not looking so bad. It's really not looking all that bad. You held the golden pocket over there. You went up to new high, and if you just want another area of confluence, guys, add this to your tool of technical analysis, your tool chest of technical analysis. This golden pocket will it'll help you out a lot of the freaking time with staying patient on these pullbacks. And then during the pullbacks, you're like seeing the clear picture here. Like, hey, this is where you want to risk things if you're going to, be bullish on this thing. And then 0.786 fib, you break it, your odds are high now that you have 100% retracement. So how would you have gone about it right here? Well, you break 112, like 40, we're going to call it. You're probably revisiting all the way down here at 110.50. That's that. That's how I use it. But yeah, clear as day break and retest. Looks like it's going higher from here. All right, you do have the golden pocket not too far above where you are right now, though. 0.786 fib, not too far where you are at right now. So you're in the golden pocket, find resistance. But if you can get above right there, okay, 119.83, that is the level that I'm going to say. 119.89. If you get above 119.89, which just to show that it's clearly being respected here, you have the high of this candlestick, 119.92. That's 3 cents above, guys. We know where the sellers are at. You get above 119.89, you hit it with the daily close. You have a breakout from this inverse head and shoulders pattern. At that point, you're probably going higher. Hate when a magnet does that. All right, I guess this would be the shoulder of it, just so you could clearly see it. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. Inverse head and shoulders pattern. Loading. Mestroni over here, okay. Mester, okay. The macaroni man. Mestroni macaroni. MSTR, guys. Fresh break and retest. Earnings right around the corner. Split announcement already happened. This thing's going higher. It's going to take out 1,999.99. That's the game plan over there on Mester. Moving on, PayPal came down to your demand zone. You see this? This is the concept I was just talking about. You long right here, you risk right here, all right. And if it breaks that, you're like, let me just wait to take my shot again, because odds are that I get that long shot again at a better price, which would be 100% retracement, which would be 57.15. All right, you did come down to that level, and now you do have what looks to be a bullish divergence on the daily RSI from this low to this low. Okay, lower low over here, and then your oscillator made the higher low. Yeah, this thing's probably going to start recovering from here, but on the weekly chart, you could see you do have that longer lower wick than the upper one. Buyers are starting to regain control. And plus on the daily time frame, this doesn't look bad at all. Hit it with the gap up and the hammer candlestick. I really like this. You have earnings right around the corner, so we'll see how that reacts there. I don't think it's going to bring a massive gap up, but at that point, you are going to get earnings crushing premiums, and that's your opportunity after the earnings. Tuesday is when you have those earnings. Wednesday is when that opportunity will start to present itself. CELH, you're down here at your support. I know you've broken down like, massively over here on CELH, but I'm just going to point out, guys, this is even getting down to your golden pocket. All right. Like you're in the major golden pocket. You're 0.786 fib, man. Like you got that not much lower at $42. You're at 48. All right. You came down, you bounced off of support. Let's see if you could reclaim this right over here. All right. 48.11 is that level to pay attention to. Above 48.11, you're going to start moving and grooving back up to this resistance, 52.26. Above there, we'll just keep it. I don't like that level. We're going to call it right there. All right, you got 59.39 above 52.26. Regardless, you hit it with the bullish candlestick. You got that heavy volume. Weekly RSI is nearing oversold territory. Daily RSI is certainly coming up off of oversold territory. And, this isn't a bad daily setup, in my personal opinion. Now, major move probably comes if this downtrend is broken. That's when this thing really probably is going to get some juice going. Maybe you do it from that one. All right. What do we got going? Right there. Fallen wedge action right there. CLH, it's probably getting ready for a move back up. I'm going to add alert just so when I know momentum is coming back into it. All right. Mara, I already went over it. We're not going to talk about it right now. Cat. All right. Cat came down. This is when I was just hesitant because you had earnings, but I really just want to buy crowds on time with this on this retest. This thing is a massive breakout. You got the perfect opportunity right off of your 335.17 level over there. All right. I alerted the Discord about this one. At the moment, I was really just debating taking a position over here on Cat. Why? Because you had a massive freaking breakout. We clearly could see when the market wasn't showing strength, this thing showed the strength. All right. It was great looking when it was running. You pulled back, you had it looking weak, but at the end of the day, you had this low decreasing volume on it. All right. On that pullback, you came down to a perfect 335.17 retest, hit it with the golden pocket test, hit it with the break and retest off this bull flag, bull pennant, falling wedge, whatever you want to call this thing. You retest it. That's 3 tests. All right, you have so much confluence going on here. All right, and then increasing volume on the bullish engulfing candlestick. I love the setup of Cat right now. You hit it with the daily, the weekly hammer candlestick. You look like you're probably about to, fade this whole freaking upper wick here and get back up to the top. All right, that's what I'm seeing. 364.43 likely incoming on Cat. Earnings right around the corner. D King coming down here. All right. I'm going to say you have 2 ways to go here. All right. I know we got a lot of levels on this chart. We're just going to take off all of them. All right. We'll rechart when we have to. At the end of the day, you got a key spot here. Right there. That's your key spot. Clear as day to me. That is the key freaking spot. You buy down here, you sell up here. This is your range. I'm also going to say right now, it's not a guarantee that it is going to be bouncing back from here. Okay. You could very, very clearly break down from this thing. You've already broken underneath that 0.786 fib over there. All right. Got the bounce. All right. The bounce is sold. It was a lower high. Clearly got this bull pennant. I think it's probably going to be breaking up from the bull pennant, but anything's possible. Just judging by how this thing is looking. Cup, handle, looks like it probably could be coming up to test $64. I understand it's only at 36. But, this is on the log chart too, so keep that one in mind. This thing has had a massive rebound, and every time it consolidates like this, it breaks up. All right, for a very long time. You have 1, you have 2, you have 3, you have 4. All right, this is a massive area of consolidation. It's going to bring a big move. My guess is it brings a big move to the upside. That's that. TLTR, all right, printing a bullish hammer off of the 9. All right, you also held that 26.57 breakout level, and you look like you want to reclaim 27.50. I think 29.29 will be tested again. And guys, golden pocket, very useful. Just add it to your tool chest. The high was 29.83, 29.90. Okay, it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be very clear where sellers should be starting to step in. And I think it's very noticeable right here. All right, now it does look like you're trying to base out in this zone. You're trying to flip this from supply into demand. If you could break above it, maybe it shoots up here to 33.50. maybe it shoots above there and then test it again as you know, just to confirm that it's demand, and then you move up from there. Either way, I like the setup loading. Okay, Upstart, I think it's something we should keep on the radar. All right, for that short-term trade. You know, I know earnings are right around the corner, but at the end of the day, this thing had a lot of consolidation here, and it looks like, you know, it started to break up. You just didn't get that confirmation that it's really going yet. Get the weekly close above 28.97. This thing shoots up to 36.96. That's what I see. Tessie. All right, Tesla 205.60. That's what you watch over here. I'll keep it very short because we talked about it earlier. TLT. What do you got going on in TLT? Printed a weekly hammer candlestick off of heavy volume. It's not a guarantee that, you know, these, you know, bring upward reversals, but it is definitely showing that buyers are starting to take control over here. And we never ran up and tapped this golden pocket up there. I'm looking for a test of 95.23. You have the 0.618 fib from this whole decline here, sitting right, you know, right above that. And you already respect this golden pocket. So I have to assume buyers, they're aiming for this up here. That's what I think's coming. Goog, I'll keep it short again, just because we already talked about it in detail. Support, oversold RSI, okay? Capitulation volume, it's now slowing. This is what I like to see. This thing is looking like it's probably going to hit it with the Uno reverse, and that's that. Microsoft, same thing. Not going to spend a lot of time. Daily RSI was nearing 30 at the 0.786 fib. 4-hour time frame was showing that. What did I just do? How did I even do that? How did I do that? I don't know. Microsoft looking good. All right. Next one we're watching, CRM. I'm just going to point out here. This thing looks like, all right, just want to talk about here on the larger scale time frame. You see how I have that drawn there? Well, what if you just take it down there, and this is all massive cup, or not massive cup, massive handle to the massive cup. This thing is probably going to continue back up to all-time highs with how this weekly chart is setting up. And if you want to know what to watch for that to happen, all right, I'm going to take off that pretty picture right there. You have this downtrend, okay? You are starting to break that downtrend. I like how things are shaping up. I like it, all right? I like how things are shaping up here in the weekly chart. And I think things are probably going to heat up over here for CRM, all right? And I would personally use this downtrend right here. Right there. All right. You just started breaking up. Hood. All right. Coming down. Major break and retest level. That's pretty much all I want to point out over here. You have the golden pocket sitting right below. I'm expecting a higher low on this pullback considering the look of this chart. Now, you did have a full-on move here. That's 66%. How many dollars we talking there? $9.27. This down here was $5.37. So you got more than your full measure move from that range breakout. But it does look like you are eventually going to come up here to 33.25. And if I had to take a guess, this is going to be that higher low. Here's the break and retest off of 20.55. All right, you had buyers stepping in right above that level, missed it by a few cents. 20.63 was the low. You're probably going higher, maybe not from here, but watch the golden pocket if it starts to break down. IBM, just going to point out, hey, there's that. That was easy. You know, guys, this was the hottest setup that I was highlighting when it broke out right here. Or I was right here, and then here's when it really started. And then we thought it was really going to go, and I thought it was going to push straight up to 180.88. Little did I know, it was going to take a lot of time for this breakout. All right, a lot of these things, I call them out, I play the start of them, and then I just kind of stop watching them because I'm like, who cares? We have so much stuff to watch. But in reality, a lot of these things, you know, they will do you really right if you just keep your eye on them. This thing is probably coming up to a new all-time high, and that is that. But yeah, definitely going to point that thing out since we were watching it when it was all the way down there. You have that uptrend to watch, and then you on the pullback, you have that uptrend to watch. Break that one, you come down to here, test 180.88. Buying opportunity is it's a knocking. J&J, just another honorable mention over here. We pointed out right here on your breakout. That's that. All right, right there. When it started to break out from that falling wedge pattern, looked for a move up here. I don't like trading J&J because it's got thinly traded options. They don't move well with price. All right, that's why I like to stick to the big boys. They definitely all move very well. We're talking Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple, SPY, QQ, SMH, NVIDIA, you know, AMD, like all of the big boys, that all the things we covered in the first part of the video. Those are the things I really like trading options on because you will always have a liquid option chain. And that means you have a lot of people buying all the time, which means when price moves a little, option move a little. That's ideal for a trader, an option trader specifically, but also a trader. All right. You can't trade a thinly traded stock. It's not going to move well. You don't want that. But especially in the options trading game, you got to make sure you're picking where you want to pay attention to. And that's that. Netflix, guys, you come down to the 601.59 level. You just had earnings. So premiums are not juiced right now. You come down there, buy it. Okay. I got my alert there. No financial advice will be given on the channel, but I'm just going to say blatantly buy it. That is that. Daily RSI nearing oversold territory. It's at 37.94. I really like how this thing is shaping up. You have this clear downtrend to watch here. All right. You clearly see where sellers are stepping in every time. Start breaking above here at 639. From this point, you're going to break out of that downtrend. So you either get this alert hit down here and put these on your chart if you can. All right. 601.59. That's the big level to watch over there. 0.618 fib right below a golden pocket test. And then you also have the other trade idea, which is just a breakout of this downtrend. And from that point, you probably start hitting these levels right here. 664.50. That would align with your golden pocket if I had to take a guess. Right above. All right. So that's the level that I will be paying attention to if, yeah, we get that breakout. Nike. I will just keep it on your radar because it is now down here. You have volume slowing. So you can clearly see sellers are slowing, volume slowing. All right. That's the same thing I was talking about on Google capitulation. You see the capitulation event, you see volume slowing. All right. Buyers are starting to, they're starting to show up. All right. You have a bunch of these lower wicks going on here. I do think the reversal is probably right around the corner for Nike. Put it on your radar. This is, hey, every time you get down here going back to 2000, yeah, literally the year 2000, I think it was. Yeah, all right, this is 97, this is 98, 2000. Every year since 97 over here, you bounce right back from oversold territory on this weekly RSI. That condition is probably going to hold. This is your buying opportunity, long-term port, all right? This is, you know, where you want to be loading up and just sitting back and waiting for the ride to happen. That's how I see these things. All right. This we're getting across the board. We have so many of these opportunities. Crowd coming into a key level at 242. We will, I'm not going to declutter the chart. We don't have a messy chart here. I'm going to take off that level right there. And I'm going to re-add that high right there. Okay, guys. 242. That's where I got my alert sitting right above around 245, 246 to see if that gets tested. Weekly RSI is now getting down. Yeah, it's underneath 40, guys. It's nearing that oversold territory, and we could see it doesn't like to just tap that. It likes to go, you know, right above it and then reverse. If it gets down here, we're probably going to see it right around where it was over here, over there, you know? At that point, you're retesting a major spot. You're probably going to get buyers, and if it's not there, then it's going to be down here at 205.73. So that is that. But, you know, you take this golden pocket, you're coming into that golden pocket. And the only reason it looks like it's in the middle here of this whole rally instead of down here at the 75% mark is because we're on a log scale. Okay. I like charting on a log scale. I see charts respect what I chart. I see price respecting what I chart better when I'm on a log scale, and that's that. All right, guys. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know we just covered 31 tickers. Well, there was a few I actually didn't cover here that was on my list because we already talked about them over there in the, you know, the first half of the video, first 50 minutes of the video, I should say. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the speed round. I hope you guys, you know, get to handpick some nice setups out of all of these, you know, the 30 tickers we just covered. And honestly, guys, I hope you really do enjoy just preparing with me. All right. I put some time and effort into these videos. I do put a lot of effort into it. I put preparation into these things. All right. So I hope you guys do enjoy them. That is genuine. That is coming from my heart. If you guys do enjoy them, leave a like. Let me know it. You know, that's how I see. Oh, this video is a bad video. This video is a good video. You got anybody who you would think would benefit from this market prep that we do, you know, 5 to 6 days a week? Hey, feel free to share the video. If you want to go trade with me, or come trade with me, I should say, link is going to be down below in the for the Discord in the description. And then, of course, go check out the Twitter. It's absolutely free, no cost to you, and it will only benefit you. There's no downside to doing that, so there's no point in not doing it. With that being said, I will catch you all in the next one. Guys, we got a freaking crazy week coming. Crazy. Earning and FOMC week. I really like how things are shaping up for that. And yeah, I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.